and we're going to start the majority of our ride to Lompoc, California from here. Much nicer weather here than my house. A lot safer, no ice.
What's been your route?
Well, it started off with me only riding to Sheridan, and then they decided my prison was in Lompoc, California. So we decided to ride to Lompoc, California.
Okay. Well, that takes us to a little bit of to why you're riding. You mentioned your prison. Tell us about this.
I was convicted of digging a hole on the Malheur Wildlife Refuge during the standoff. The 94 years of charges that they filed against me, I was innocent of. And then I was convicted of digging a foxhole for my own self-protection. And I was sentenced to a year in federal prison. We were trying to drum up attention for the Hammonds. The Hammonds have been serving a 5-year minimum federal sentence for doing a backburn in Burns, and they were sentenced with a terrorism enhancement, and now they're in prison.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but you believe that this has been overreach on the part of the federal government?
It has been gross overreach, and it seems our senators and our congressmen and our district representatives won't do anything about it.
Okay. And so now you're making a ride to Lompoc, California.
To turn myself in, spend my year and a day in federal prison, and raise as much noise as I can for the Hammonds. Dwight and Stephen Hammond.
Okay. Where are they right now?
They're in a prison in Southern California.
Okay.
So if people wanted to support them, where could they go online to help out?
I would say talk to Susie Hammond first.
Lindsay Tyler.
Or Lindsay Tyler.
Katie Beatty.
Or Katie Beatty. They're all real close, you know, helping each other get through this rough time.
You don't know if there's any Facebook pages, something like that?
I'm sure there is.
Okay.
I'm sure there is.
I'll find the stuff. I'll find it.
There's one. Hold on.
Well, while she looks for that, why don't you tell us a little bit about how your day went, some of the challenges you and the horse have experienced today?
Well, we got to go to my favorite coffee shop and see all my old men that gather around every morning and say our goodbyes and spend time having a hot cup of coffee with my friends, and then we departed. And we're going to do like 30 stops in 30 days, as many places as we could go to on the way to the prison.
Okay. And so you got about 30 days now between now and then.
Yes. So every day will be a different stop. Some days will be 2 or 3 different stops. You know, it's as many as we could get in by the time I have to report.
Okay. Well, Hellboy needs put up for the night, doesn't
he? He needs an apple.
Let's just wrap it up by you telling me what you'd like to say to the folks.
I would like to see the Hammonds out of prison. Presidential pardon or an investigation launched into why they're in prison in the first place, because I think it is unjustified, and that's what I would like to see happen.
What about your own sentence? Do you think it's fair?
I believe with all my heart I dug that foxhole to save my friend's life.
Justice for Lavoie finna come.
And if doing a year in federal prison means keeping my friends alive, then by all means send me to a year in prison.
Have you got anything to say to your representatives?
No, they don't got nothing to say to me neither.
Okay. Well, we can leave it right there, can't we?
It's Operation Free the Hammonds.
Thank you.
Freedom.
So yeah, that's where you can go on Facebook to help out Operation Free the Hammonds.
Okay.
Yeah.
We need justice for Lavoy Finicum. Definitely.
And
That
Jerry
was definitely
DeLemus.
an ambush.
And all of us.
An
actually.
ambush. And that man who did it needs to be accountable.
We need our
Amen. We need some police accountability in Oregon.
Let me
It's
on
true.
my flag a minute.
We need some government accountability as well.
That opens up another can of worms. I just want to raise awareness for what we could do today. You know, we can't solve all the problems, but I would like to see the Hammonds free.
Okay, you've been bearing witness live with Salem-News Journal, and we thank you.
I have to say from the heart, I'm an anarchist. You're a constitutionalist. Thank you so much for standing up for my liberty, because I understand the intrinsic value in what you guys are doing. And you know, people putting their bodies on the line and their reputations and everything so that I could enjoy the liberties that I have in this country. And for heartfelt for me to you, thank you, Duane. I mean, you said that you were a nobody earlier. No, you will always be remembered in my mind as someone who stood up for my liberty. And thanks again. You know, the first thing I have to say to you is just thank you.
You're welcome. It could have been you at the refuge indicted, because anybody, whether you're a journalist or not, is open to being incarcerated without any reason whatsoever. Look at Peace and Telling.
Yeah, a conspiracy to hold a camera, you know.
Yeah,
I mean,
a scary or dressing scary.
Right.
Yeah.
Militant clothes while holding the camera is ridiculous. But as you all know, my focus is police accountability, and I asked you a lot of questions when I first wanted to interview you, and I'd like to go back to those. Can you tell me how you were treated when you were taken into custody? Were you threatened? Were you coerced? Did they treat you okay? They treat you with dignity? All these things I want to know.
Okay. At first, they said from a loudspeaker, stick your hands out the window. Now, if I didn't stick my hands out the window, coming to that traffic stop, they would have shot me dead. There was like 30 ARs pointed at me. There was an attack, air squad in a helicopter hovering above me. They stripped me naked at gunpoint, and they had to search me in the snow.
On your knees, or were you just standing?
No, I had to walk backward to them like this.
Oh, wow.
Had to spin around just like I was in Bosnia. And this military checkpoint shouldn't be used against civilians in this country. And it was a military checkpoint. And this is not martial law. This is Oregon State. And it should never have happened.
Now, originally they were trying to get you on some sort of a gun charge or something like that. Is that true?
I carried an 1860 cap and ball revolver on the refuge.
You mean like the that looks like the gun the old pirates use in the pirate movies, right? The black powder thing?
Civil War pistol.
Oh, okay. Wow. And they tried to charge you with a gun crime for that?
Brass receiver, that octagon barrel, the whole 9 yards. It's what I've always carried on my hip.
Wow.
As a 45 1860 Army pistol.
And that really didn't fly in court?
They tried everything to get me on a weapons charge, but the requirements for the firearm, 1860 pistol doesn't meet the requirements.
Right on. So, if you had anything you could say to the officers, especially the ones that dealt with Finicum fatally, and the ones that took you into custody, and the level of militant response to Mal here, what would you say to those guys? You know, and I'm not trying to get you to bag on law enforcement. I just want you to tell me your honest, no BS opinion.
We have some awful good officers in Oregon State. We really do, and there's some bad ones too, and the bad ones need to be held accountable. I wish we could go back in time and not have my friend shot in the back, you know, with his hands up, trying to save the people's life in the truck they were shooting at. You know, there's no reason he was even shot. And then there was an ambulance right up above him, and they never utilized it to save his life. They just let him bleed out onto the ground. And something should have been done. I don't feel it was the Oregon State Police. The Oregon State Police was deliberately misled by the FBI. And that I do know for a fact. I have a lot of friends with the Oregon State Police. I've been on the search and rescue team in Moore County for 20 years. And some of my best friends, Oregon State Police, you know, and sheriffs.
Right on. So if you had anything to say to my anarchist audience, you know, the ones that might not understand what people were doing out there at Mal here, because, you know, I am an anarchist and a lot of people
right.
on Team Anarchy watch my stuff, but what would you say to them?
Well,
the people that are trying to characterize you guys as terrorists, for instance,
yeah,
you know, like...
I was expecting a terrorism. The radio said that the terrorists had taken over the refuge. That's how I got involved. I jumped in my truck, I went down, and I said, holy crap, that's only an hour or two away, and I'll be the first one there to stop. You know, I spent time in Iraq. I don't want any terrorists in my neighborhood, and I was thinking more.
So you were a soldier in Iraq then?
Yeah, I was.
Okay.
So I was thinking, okay, I'll jump in, go down there, stop the terrorists from doing whatever they were doing, and go home. That's what I was thinking. I was not ready for what I encountered. I rolled down my window, and Ryan Bundy come out of the hooch in a cowboy hat. I thought I was lost. And Ryan Bundy says, I said to Ryan Bundy, I said, where's all the terrorists at? Because, you know, it's out in the middle of nowhere. I've never been there before. And they said, terrorists? Just shook his head, says, I don't know about any terrorists, but I'm about to go eat dinner, and you're welcome to eat with us, and we pray before we eat if that doesn't offend you. I said, well, what's going on here? Because that's not the story Oregon Public Broadcasting put out, saying terrorists that took over the refuge. And see, that's how I got involved with everything. And then when the sun came up the next morning, I met the entire Hammonds family. And I found their story firsthand.
Oh.
And
that's
so
a cranky horse.
That's Ransom, not Hellboy.
So, if there's anything I could do for the Hammonds family, I'll do it. And this is my one last opportunity before I go to prison to help them.
Well, I mean, that's just a testament to the character and the human being that you are, that you're spending your last, 30 days, serving other people when you're going to have your freedom taken away from you.
I had my freedom taken away from me for 10 years serving this country. It's just like a short deployment somewhere to me. Whether I spent 2 years on the DMZ in Korea, and
highly limited regulations.
There you go.
Rules.
So, what do you think should happen in regards to an investigation about what happened with Finicum? What would be, in the best case scenario
the
for you?
HRT team that lied on the stand, they all should be in prison. The HRT team that trimmed tree branches and set up tree stands to shoot my friend in the back in an L-shaped ambush should be held accountable.
Now that's a
And who's your
prepared
friend?
elevated firing position in an ambush around a blind turn, right?
Who are you
like
referring to? Your friend?
HRT team.
My
just so the
friend.
people that are watching
my
understand
friend
what that is.
Lavoie pushed up.
Yeah, of course.
That's who I'm
like
referring
Finicum. Yeah, but what is a HRT team? Like, so the people at home will know what it is. It's like a
They're-
SWAT team or whatever, or
They're
what are
like
they?
a SWAT team, but their job is to hostage, negotiate, rescue people where they just kill everybody in their path.
Okay.
They don't
well.
they don't negotiate.
Well, thank you for the very telling and frank interview.
I have a really good friend, Oregon State Police.
Mm-hmm.
He was a state police senior bomb expert for like 30 years. he was in tears just like I was over LaVoy Finicum.
Which
Yeah.
press do we have here today with us? Do
Thank
know?
you, brother.
All right.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you.
Anybody else got any questions?
Um,
Have a good one, man.
when you